fantastic human, terrific dad, family man, holds the amber of the artist, even still. What a great story we have to tell. Suddenly it made sense instead of blabbing to people that didn't ask me. Accosting people with information, which, if I'm honest with myself, is what I tend to do. It's a good way of weeding folks out, finding the ones that dig it, but it's ultimately polarizing and self-absorbed. Anyways, a podcast is a great way to be self-absorbed. An interesting factor.
Yeah.
I don't have any answers. I'm
Says
just saying.
The man with the cobra hat. Well, if you don't have any answers, I think there's one on your head for sure.
You need to talk to this guy.
For sure.
Okay. So I had this beautiful thought. I wanted to ask you if you could return to a time in the past.
Would I?
Because what I'm about to do here is super scary, man. I told you about that. It's scary to like imagine having any kind of voice in any sort of public sphere, especially someone who's dealt with like scapegoat energy in the past.
You're gonna have to catch me up what we're talking about.
Good. Found a crow that had apparently gotten electrocuted. How fitting for Saturn and Aquarius. Anyway, so I kept some feathers. Universal language is the language of symbols and symbology. A secret symbol of knowledge. This is the ear and the paw from the coyote I found on the side of the road and skinned. Helps me stay fleet of foot and keen of ear. Paul, actually. Paul was the guy. It was the day after I left, and we had kind of a difficult parting because I had to lay down some boundaries, you know? I feel like you broke my trust. I can't be around you and get back in my kids' lives, so that's that. And then the next day, Paul called me and said he had seen a fresh coyote on the side of the road and to tell Nicholas. And I was kind of like, I don't need that guy. So I went and did it myself. And then I gave Paul the other ear. He has the other ear. Hero's journey stuff, and not being afraid to believe in oneself. These things come to mind. I was gonna twist one up.
Okay.
We don't
Like
have
a
split?
Spliff.
Yeah, it's just.
Would you mind?
I'd love to.
I prefer the half and half or something,
Yeah.
as opposed to 100%er.
Oh yeah. What is your preferred blender these days?
Well, it's mostly tobacco with some weed, but I've really cut back. You probably don't know. I spent 11 nights in the hospital in end of January, early February.
This year.
3 separate stints. 5 nights, 1 night. I mean, who spends that many nights in a fucking hospital? Yeah, it was shitty. I've got diverticulitis. I had a puncture in my colon.
Dang.
Perforation. So then I got this crazy infection. Yeah, it was really gnarly. Like, and so like this is one thing that I have only just dabbled in a little bit, because what I notice about my guts, there's certain things that
Trigger them.
And tobacco is one of them. So you know, it's
Okay, I'm gonna adjust my ratio.
No, we're only having one and we're sharing it. I'm great. Since
feel like
February, I've imbibed 3 times. I'm just trying to, just like you said, what you just said. You just said, stop smoking weed for your dreams.
Yeah.
Right? There's all these things that we're negotiating with all the time.
All the time.
And and I know that some things are not good for me, but at the same time, I'm doing other things that are really good for me.
And there's so many things happening to us that aren't good for us, that are outside of our control. This was the thing for me. Like, there's something empowering about doing something that's like half bad.
I just listened to a podcast today that kind of has this whole human condition about that. It started with like, why do we work so much?
Why?
And it went back to this thing that basically farming screwed us over.
Oh, it did. Hoarding.
Yeah, people having too much, and then other people wanting that, right? It was never about people wanting all this stuff. We just want what people have that are nearby.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what? Okay. Yeah, so anyways, it's
Nice to be.
the negotiations with these things.
Yeah, man. It's wild too, because spliffs, I am going, once I get this thing going, I'm going to make a little like breakup video with spliffs. We need to talk. Look, you've been there for me through thick and thin. You've gotten me through things. You held my hand when I didn't have anybody else. But, lately, the spark isn't there.
Is this true?
I want to do a breakup with spliffs.
I guess my question is, besides just the video and wanting to make this funny thing, like, do you feel that? Like, is that...
Yeah, we should be just friends and not life partners, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stress and I got a lot of fire and frustration, and I'm trying to just like honor that and not put it on anyone else. It's hard on relationships, to say the least. And
the fire.
I wake up with it. Like it's so unruly and cumbersome and dumb. It's so dumb, but it's also fantastic. If you know what I mean.
I mean, I think so. When you say fire, like, because I know you in this way where I have. I don't know if I've ever seen what you refer to as your fire.
Wow, right, because you know the Jolly.
Yes.
The Pooh Bear, so to speak.
Right, yeah, Mr. Gentle.
The Tao.
Yeah. So maybe you spared me. You spared me.
I certainly have. But it's both. I think it's definitely both. But yeah, as far as I can remember, I'd be waking up before the dang cartoons on Saturday. Like, waiting for them to come on. I've always been like,
Oh, as a kid.
wake up ready to go.
Yeah.
Even,
That's not.
but in relationships, it looks like, especially if you have if you know, it's like a lot of people like to chill in the morning, and I like to hold space for that. I'm just not one of them. You know?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It takes a lot of energy for me to like,
To
because I
pull back,
I
huh?
wake up and I just want to like talk about all the
Oh,
stuff. And I
morning
just,
is
like,
your time to just.
and like
yeah.
my mind is like,
Yeah.
imagine this, imagine that, and it's like, God, I get it. It's a lot
Right.
for most people.
Interesting. Yeah, so I do, like, 'cause I mean, I consider myself a morning person, but I guess my mornings are this fairly slow, my favorite mornings
Slow builder?
are slow, when nobody's awake,
Yeah.
I can have this little time to eat my breakfast and listen and just be, you know, like there's nothing, you know, I don't feel like I do have to battle, like, to-do lists and the feeling that I should be doing something, but I really like that moment where my wife is not a morning person.
Yeah.
But it works out great because she usually sleeps and I have that time, and then it works out, and then by the time she gets up, I'm kind of getting motivated, and either we can we could talk a little bit, but it isn't. No, you're right. I couldn't just be like all the stuff that I built up. That would be bad.
It would be so bad.
But yeah, but you get up, and then that's the thing right then, right?
I get hyped, yeah, right out the gate, man. It's like a fresh batch of air, fresh batch of dreams.
That's lovely.
Let's
dude.
do this.
It's awesome. That reminds me. So today I took my my dog out for a really mellow bike ride. We got this dog about a year and a half ago. COVID dog, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe not even a year and a half ago, and she's taught me a lot of patience because she is this that energy, like it's just like go and have fun right now all the time, the most fun, yes, you know, and I can't, there's very little control I have over this dog, and she's so beautiful, and I'm just recently like when I get on my bike, what she does is she's so excited that we are going that she's just barking, and she's got this really high pitch annoying bark, you know, and she's trying to bite the front tire, and is just so excited, 360s, and in the first, well, for a while there, I mean, I'd be getting off my bike, I'd be like, rah, 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 just like, come on, what are you doing, stop it. But I've gradually been able to accept her for she is, and today was just so rad because
Just go with it, right?
Yeah, just go with it, and you know, like, I just for myself, the fact that that's the bark is so, it's just like, it's not something that agrees with me at all. It's not a deep bark, it's this sharp, it's just awful. But like, and also I moved my dad here recently.
Yes.
And I told you about that, which is also teaching me patience, so it's like this super serious end of life mental degradation, and then this dog, right, which is happy, young, exuberant with life, and both of those things are teaching me this patience that I haven't had ever in my life.
Whoa.
And it's a trip. And anyway, so I went on this bike ride today with the dog, and nothing's changed with that dog. It's the same. It's the same, but I came back today and I felt so great, and I was so in love with this dog and our experience together, and you know, where before we'd come back and I would just be like, oh my God, I never want to fucking do that again.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing, you know, and she could tell too. Before I left the house today, she kept checking in. I was like, oh my God, we're best friends again. So, I mean, it's a beautiful energy, dude. You know, it's just hard for people, right? It's just hard for people sometimes to accept all that.
So much.
Yeah.
Man, COVID dogs. I mean, you know, I was just in a scene that's full of COVID dogs. That was a real thing that happened. And I guess not as many babies. I was just reading there was a real lull, which makes sense.
A lull?
Yeah.
Oh, there wasn't like a
boom.
Oh.
Because they were afraid.
Oh, of the future.
I think so. Of getting death from a virus.
The fear of the future.
Yeah.
Because if you would have asked me, because I was just like gonna finish the sentence. Oh, of course, there's more babies. People are home, you know. People are home. They have sex.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's tale as old as time.
That's really interesting.
I know, right?
So, dogs, not kids.
People really went with the...
Maybe I shouldn't be asking these questions.
No, it's perfect.
I can't help but ask. I mean, there's plenty of things I'm curious about, but the wing structure thing.
Yeah.
What bird is that?
That is... Ready for it? An acidified vulture wing.
Acidified?
By the vulture acid.
Vulture acid?
They have it in there.
Did you know about this before that film?
This was given to us during the making.
Holy crap.
Or to me, and then I've just been carrying it.
Yeah.
Did you meet that badger fellow? He's definitely on the list of folks I would love to talk
I
to.
don't think I did meet the badger fellow.
What a fellow. Seriously.
Speaking of fellows, do you know how he's doing?
He's, wait, what were we talking about for that?
Well, I think you're going to tell me.
So I'm out here telling you to buy a t-shirt designed by my kiddos. Helping to get this podcast started. Coming up with the beautiful visions for you. Magical stories that you can help me. Sign up for the experience. Right. Wow.
But he's in town.
Here's the thing. I want to say this to you because I think you'll get it more than anyone. I've said it to a couple of other people and they kind of got it. Let me know if you need water.
Oh, I brought my little jug.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But ever since he got that eye tattoo, I always see either comments on the Instagram or people in real life who may have known him, and they're always like, it'll never work. You'll never have a job again. Good luck never having a job again. Like variations on that.
Right. Projections of some sort.
Yeah. And then when I found out that he's cashier at Fred Meyer, I'm like, that is the ultimate flex.
Yeah.
So just like,
I would love to get him as a checkout guy.
totes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go shopping.
I know, Fred Meyer. I've gone there 3 times, and I've seen the pickle, but I haven't seen him. And I heard rumor that he was asking about where I worked. There's an eccentric elderly gentleman that lives at the beep, and so problematic. I don't want to get into it, but he was working at Fred Meyer. He just keeps going through jobs, this guy, you know? And he has all these fantastic tales, and it's like, I want to believe you, but I don't believe that you just got dragged through a car wash. Sorry. It's a great story, though.
It
and
is,
I want to know your mind.
I know.
But I got to get stable first. I do this backward, where I'm going to tell a story of these amazing people, and then I end up with the rep of the people. And the people are gone, and I'm the guy that did everything that anyone else ever did.
Fascinating. So this is like I got caught up in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that is that a cultural thing? I mean, a localized cultural thing? What is that?
I would love to get into what that is.
I'm just curious, because because you're saying the flip side is
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he's out there doing and being.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah. But I'm the one who people glare at because they remember when him and I were rolling around together and stuff, you know what I mean? It's wild. And then, I've gotten into astrology, not so I can bypass, so that I may understand why I've had such a difficult time with relationships.
What's bypass mean?
For example, like when my Saturn returned, I did a really terrible thing. And it would be really easy to justify it or make an excuse that because Saturn was returning, I had extra lenience to misbehave.
That's bypassing.
That would be bypassing.
Got it.
Instead
Okay.
of this is why it happened. It doesn't make it okay.
No.
But it does make it so you won't repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel I have some scapegoat energy that I've picked up in my chart. That's cool. I'm into it now, man, because I realized that they're listening. No, I realized that it's kind of cool to imagine you doing good stuff while people imagine you doing bad stuff without being recognized for it.
Definitely. I mean, I think that post that you put on Instagram the other day about do your best even when it's
Not nearly good enough.
not nearly good enough. That was really a touching one. I really felt
Really
it.
summed it up.
Jesus, yeah. And so, I mean, and being succinct is really something is really great.
So I was just thinking on the way here, I was getting excited about having a spliff with my buddy. And man, okay, so one of the most devastating moments of my life, and it's, once again, it's only made me better. You know, there was a moment where, you know, I had let some people that weren't me, you know, if it was just me tying knots, I feel like I would have been able to hold it down, but I wasn't keeping it on lock, and some stamps got stamped like shoddily. It's not okay. And it was time, and it was more than that. It was like, I'm sure a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, in hindsight, it wasn't at all okay to invite my childhood friend who had just gotten out of prison over.
And who was that?
Toss. Yeah.
Shit, dude. Yeah.
I mean, I figured he thought of me as a brother, so you have like this golden way of controlling a character like that when you're around, because I'm an elder or something. But anyways, there was a moment where I said something. I always do this thing where I just go ultra positive when I'm disappointed, to a fault maybe, and I was like, oh, we're just artists or something, right? And you know, and I've had a lot of time to ponder this, and you're an artist, and you're sitting there like running this thing that isn't your art, and you've built it up, and you've got a family, and you took chances, and this guy is telling you that he's an artist, and you're like, do something.
Oh God.
And guess what?
What?
I haven't forgotten, and you're absolutely right. And that's why it was so important to me that you were like the first one, because this is it. This is what I'm
man.
doing.
Well, that means a lot, dude. And I think just to pause and just acknowledge that for a minute. When I think back to, you know, you guys in the brewery and stuff.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I loved so many parts of that.
Yeah.
There's so much I loved about it. And it's like, I've been on this path where I probably still haven't learned my lesson, but it's all got me to reflect on this series of wonderful human beings that I've admired and love their energy. And so my solution is like, let's be closer. You know, I can help, you know, let me help. As opposed to running it like a business.
Yeah.
And I can't say that one is necessarily better than the other, but I can say that neither are perfect, you know, and that, I think, with you guys was my first foray into that. And I think if it was just you, you're probably right. We probably would have figured out a way to work through that, because it was a bit of a, which I love so much, when you guys like came to that bottle release in Portland, you know, and people are coming out and they're like, wow, what's going on? I mean,
what's with the band?
What's going on? And the dude's in there, and it's just like, and I'm like, yeah, I can't say I know exactly, but I love it so much. You know, I really loved that energy. And it just, you know, it just was one of those things. I'm glad it didn't get to a point where it did with, say, well, just other people. I'm glad.
I'm gonna block out names,
Okay.
just so you know. Like, we can say a name,
Oh,
and then
great.
tell the story.
Yeah.
And if it's a name that's sensitive, because guess what? This town is sensitive.
It's so sensitive.
We'll just block it out,
Yeah,
and make
okay.
it know, and
Make
no one
it
else will know.
Nice. Okay.
Trust me, I've been planning this for a long time.
Oh,
It's
dude.
like, anyway.
No, so, you know, with George tonight, I mean, and that's a whole nother story that we could go down, but I'm glad that we never got to the point where you had certain expectations that I was unable to meet, you know. What I was starting with was, I only remember a few things. Like, I remember some moments in there tying knots that were just fucking awesome, and smoking weed, and just talking about cool stuff with awesome, vibrant people. And I do remember one time with like, you know, us in the van, and you, and I was like, oh, something's going on there, you know, because you guys are up the property, and it's like, okay, whatever. And the one that I remember the most is talking with you and saying, well, you know, we've kind of reached the end of this road, and you made it so easy for me. and you probably did that at your expense. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
just
man.
what you said. Like,
So devastating.
fuck.
Well, and
Because you handled it so
I'm just gonna keep going.
nonchalantly. It made me feel, I shouldn't say that because you can't make me feel anyway, right? Like, the feelings that came up for me was, oh, it's, you know, he's enjoyed it, whatever, seems to be okay. I mean, you know, just, okay, great. I thought this was going to be more intense, but it's, you know, so I may have never really processed it properly because of how easy you made it for me.
Oh man, that's why I brought up the bypassing. I've really tried to stop that and to look directly at things about myself specifically. In a small town like Bend, and when you get twisted up in the rumor mill, it's a little bit of this and that, right? And the bypassing thing comes up again because there's a lot of falsities in there. However, there were a lot of truths.
Right.
So I decided to focus on the parts I could control, right?
Well, that's good.
No one wants to come around and differentiate, right? So you end up with the worst rep, and it's cool, it's fine.
No one wants to come around and differentiate in terms
Rarely
of,
will
like,
someone be, if they hear something that people want to believe it all, you know what I mean? And they just want to like spin it further.
Well,
and
there's a German word for that Schadenfreude or something like that. I'm not.
Jordan. There's a
Maybe you can bleep that word in over.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. Oh, look at you. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, there is that. And I think in this town, it may be amped up a little bit because of all the haves.
There's a lot of haves.
Yeah.
This neighborhood.
Do you want this white house right here?
We used to have a beautiful view here.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Ooh, I slid into that guy's car when it was snowy.
Oh, you did? Right here? This
Just
guy?
barely. You know, it's one of those things where like...
Dude, I tell him.
It was a kiss? No, he was right there.
Oh. How'd he handle it?
And it was their least nice car. Like, I really lucked out. And...
God, their least nice car. Jesus.
And it was weighing on me for probably 4 months, you know? And actually, to be honest, you're the first person that comes to mind when I have a situation like that. I'm like, I'm gonna get him a bottle of ale apothecary.
Oh my God. Yes.
Things over.
That's I mean, I've never done an ad, dude, but that might be a good one. You know? James Ryan sliding down the street, hits a guy with a super nice car. Yeah,
Here you
great.
go.
Here you go,
Sorry
pal.
about that.
All good.
Oh, it's no problem. Are you kidding me? Thanks, buddy. And then, you know, like for 4 months I was carrying it, and then I came around the corner one day and there was cops and this other kid I didn't recognize. It wasn't their kids, and that car was so smashed up. And I was like,
You're like,
I don't know what's going on, guys, but
not bypassing this one anymore.
that guy's not upset at me for barely scuffing his car now.
Oh, jeez. That's hilarious.
So I'm not supposed to smoke in here.
Oh, is this a segue? Like, could I go use the bathroom?
Yeah, let's take a pause.
Okay.
And then I have a question for when we come back. Pretty tight on immigration, though.
What's that?
Those successful socialist Scandinavian countries.
Pretty what now? What'd you say?
They're tight on immigration.
They're very tight, right? Germany's struggling with that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An interesting factor.
Yeah.
I don't have any answers. I'm
Says
just saying.
The man with the cobra hat. Well, if you don't have any answers, I think there's one on your head for sure.
You need to talk to this guy.
For sure.
Okay. So I had this beautiful thought. I wanted to ask you if you could return to a time in the past.
Would I?
Because what I'm about to do here is super scary, man. I told you about that. It's scary to imagine having any kind of voice in any sort of public sphere, especially someone who's dealt with scapegoat energy in the past.
You're gonna have to catch me up what we're talking about. The scary thing.
Words.
Beyond this.
This is this. I want to bust narratives up, so I want to go to middle ground places that are not
Great.
welcome right now. Because if I can manage Bend 3 pariah sessions later,
Yeah.
and I'm still here.
Good point. It's a really good point. What are you thinking when you envision the journey and the places and the people? Like, who are you thinking you're going to be communicating with?
Oh, I want to talk to a lot of dads up front. I'm definitely going to tell the story of my family in this town, which will also tie into conversations about how they ended up in northern Mendocino County. The first season's going to be called The Real Demons, so I can just
Oh, nice.
talk about why I called my band that.
Yeah.
And just sort of dispel the myth. There's certain people in this town that think they own that experience because they were invited in, because my heart's big and I invite people into it. And
Full circle right there, pal. Good job.
They don't like when I talk about how it was kind of always me.
Right.
It's based on growing up in a Native American Pentecostal church in the Emerald Triangle. And the things
It's all in the name.
that happened to you.
Has a little whippersnapper.
It's a horrible place, Paul. It's a horrible place. It's so dark.
But again.
Contrasted only by its beauty.
Right, then people will eat it up.
Okay, so that's part of it. I'm just going to start a fashion brand, so I'll definitely be talking about denim heads as often as possible.
Ooh, a fashion brand to go with the podcast?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Can't wait to show
Can I
you.
get a shirt?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You know it. Anyway. It's just going to be t-shirts and blue jeans and things that go well with those.
Yeah.
Just like what I wear, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very excited. I have a couple products that when I have an extra $25K laying around, I'll put into production.
It's just a matter of time.
It's a matter of
this
it's
whole
just-
internet thing.
It's just a matter of steps, baby. I've gotten real serious about the steps and slowing down on the broadcasting.
Well, I'm glad you thought about it.
But okay, so I was thinking about you a lot over the last month, and the climate of Bend, Oregon, when you decided to leave the soul-crushing world of beep and do your own thing.
Perfect.
I can't imagine how maybe possibly terrifying that might have been. The economic climate was a bit different back then.
Yeah, but I think about that stuff as little now as I did then,
You just were doing it because it was what you knew you were to do?
I didn't even really think about it.
Wow. See, I need to know this. You just,
Well, in the moment, I think I got that job thinking it was kind of a forever job.
Yeah.
But, pretty good one. I was kind of like, oh, this is going to work. I live in Bend and I have this job with a company that's growing and, I didn't really think of this consciously, but this is the family I was brought up in.
Yeah.
Definitely my dad was all about structure, it was college after high school, marriage after college, kids after, it was this step ladder, this
Job
thing.
that allows you to take
That's
care
why
of
he's struggling so much right now, because he's reaching the end of his life, and instead of that last thing happening, mom and him traveling, using all the money that they work so hard to save, he retires to care for her as she dies from brain cancer in 4 months, and then that's spinning on this thing. So it's like, right, and I do have some similarities to my dad in that same way that I think was subconscious as far as expectations about what happened next in life, that's why I got married so young, that's why, I made sure I got a job. We did have a couple forays, driving around the country, quitting our jobs at 30 and traveling for a couple years, but there was always this, we had a number of occasions where we considered like, maybe we should take this job as ship hands on, in Maine, and we came this close to doing it, but the guy wasn't gonna take couples. Like, who knows what would have happened if we would have got on that boat,
Wow.
Just stuff like that. But, we kind of were rooted in Bend. And to get back to your point, I had progressed through this company, had a great job, was doing the thing that I liked, and could put up with the other stuff that comes along with a very successful and growing and large food producer. Something happened, right? I had this situation that I worked towards, and I had, right? It's like, oh my God. And was dealing with this part, and then they wanted to bring me into that part, like literally
To do only that.
to do only that, the darkness.
Oh, soul crush.
Yeah. Sit here and manage 15 employees and spreadsheets and all this computer budgety stuff.
Ooh, for the
at a
rest of your
desk
life.
in a windowless cubicle, in the cellar.
That was what you graduated to.
That was my glass ceiling right there, yeah. When that was presented to me, because I've been thinking about the bad stuff and how I love my situation, and the only reason I put up with the bad stuff because this situation and how great our life is. When they wanted to pull me in there, it was a really easy thing because I've been thinking so long about,
What if I just did the good stuff?
this is the stuff that works to balance this out, and once you take that away, the scales just, it's funny because I do get impulsive sometimes like that, but it takes a lot for me to be able, and it's interesting to notice when those things happen,
Yeah. Okay, I know do you mind if I say what your sun sign is?
No,
Capricorn.
pretty hardcore.
One of the same days as one of my sons, I thought. 9?
13th.
13. Oh, it's like that. I knew there was a thing, because Elliot's 9, Etienne's 11.
Oh, right, you got a lot of
The uni
Capricorns.
gave me some grounding,
Yeah.
thankfully. Otherwise, I would have been a real kite.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, but I mean, that's in a large part why I have done what I've done to you. The grounding of marriage and a family and a business. A lot of heavy, some of the business has all this physical weight.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sit there and even though it's a small little tiny brewery, whatever, I just think about all the shit and how much it weighs. All those barrels, the kettle and the forklift and all these, just, yeah. And then the ballast of a responsibility to other humans.
Ooh.
Added to that, But in the same way, it's a beautiful struggle. Like I just had my friend gave me a tarot reading, and it was great because I got the 7 swords, and the image had this figure that looked like it was made out of pencil shavings, right? So my question was, will the future be lighter? And I got 7 swords. She laughed because I turned that over, and she's like, no, nope, nope. She's like, I'm not predicting anything, but I mean, this card definitely says no. But the pencil shavings part we got into, and it's on like a bunch of glass. The image was this pencil shaving man, 7 swords on panes of glass that were unbroken. And she was like, so what about, I guess we work towards this, because I'm talking about the business and like how it weighs on me and certain things that we do that, anyway, I was kind of just letting out how I felt about it, and she was talking about the card, right, and possibilities. And so it's like this shaving of the weight is basically finding ways to create this lightness, this, what are pencil shaves? They're nothing, shave some of this weight away. And the way I take it is we can scale back some still. Like we don't have to grow. And growing, like we think about that, it's like we're at this weird spot
That's
where
one of
it's
the
like,
tricks of capitalism.
it's fucked.
You can just stay.
No, but it's hard. It's so hard to stay the same size.
It's nearly impossible.
Unbelievable. And so it's like either we make this commitment, and I'm not. I mean, just gonna not. Connor always feels like he has too much work. I feel like I have too much work. Stacy feels like she has too much work. But we're managing, and like, yesterday didn't work at all. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like we're 60 hours a week, folks, or we're probably not even 40. It's probably 30, 35. Right. We're thinking about a lot.
Right.
Find a way to shave off this extra work that's causing us this stress, right?
Yeah.
Or the stress in the business. It's like it'll free up more time. It'll create lightness.
I
I'm
see
very
that.
inexperienced on tarot stuff, but
Yeah.
Emma's really good at it, and
I'm not. That's not my thing yet.
I think it's so cool.
Though I do dabble. I love to. It's a trickster. I like to poke the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out.
You do. I mean, Look at your
Look at my thingy.
look at your thing.
Look at your thingy. Yeah, dude. That's a lot of heartache. Like, that's the metal that was under Lone Pine's roaster at the old location.
The red bell.
The coil. There was a
Oh.
piece of sheet metal.
Is that what you used to put around this?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It is. And then that bell was out at Loco. A lot of the tools came from my family. Like, I had this uncle who would kind of like throw work my way. So I have a lot of tools from him. I mean, he bought the purple. Like, he's a big deal.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He's a big deal.
In the purple lore, he was the one that chose to buy a weird purple car.
Wow.
And
So you could pay me back? That time?
No, he bought it so that he could put the equipment in it to service fire extinguishers. And
So was it driving around town?
I worked for that company in 1998, and it was driving around, but I didn't.
Did he paint it?
No, it came that way from the factory.
You're talking before you had it.
I'm talking about like late 90s when it was purchased and brought to the fair land of Bendor.
That man.
That guy.
Got it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Where is it right now?
Purple Saga. Engine went out just before the fires came. Also, that was when some things were said that were last straws, and I decided that I needed to relocate, which coincided with getting a job and my friend boss telling me I could move in with him. I've been walking a fine line here, sir. It got towed from East Campbell up by Athletic Club of Bend to Sisters, where it sat until about a week ago when I got my buddy Andy to good old boy it with me to Ivy off Clover
Oh boy.
Field Dale, and reconnected with a dear soul who I never really got to be friends with, but he was always at the Horned Hand. He was a big one of those scene holder-uppers, you know?
Yeah, I love those guys.
Anyway, I had a ping the other day, and I called, talked to someone who knows the difference, and he said, don't fuck with salvage yards in Central Oregon because they never have anything, and if they do, they charge you an arm and a leg for it. Instead, check these guys out, GNR in the Valley.
GNR.
And GNR! Guess what? They had 93 3.3 liter V6. It was the same engine.
Shut up.
$300.
Really? Oh my god. That's heartwarming.
If you need to go to the Valley,
Right.
ever,
Sure.
I'm in need of an engine brought to Bend. It's in Albany, but I own it.
Is it on a it's probably on a pallet, right?
Yeah, totally.
If I would have known this when I was driving Leo over the last time, I
I know.
probably could have done it.
Something will work out. I'll figure something out about that. I've just been in this. Whoa. Ultimately, the main issue is the reputation. Not with Bend. I can't wait to drive through the new version of Bend in that thing. It's like, oh my god, you guys just keep making it too easy for me.
Yeah.
But
So
it's the baby business. Right? They have things beyond practical considerations against the purple destroy it.
Oh no.
So
It is. It's funny. You don't meet too many vehicles. Like you just. It's just nice.
oh man, I never talked. You got time to talk about Loco, or is that part 2?
That may be part 2, my friend.
Okay, that feels like part 2.
I got
You got jobs.
I have to go finish.
We
my
were just
work.
talking about what you need to do. Actually.
I know.
Anyways, I'm gonna give you the good stuff, buddy.
What's that now? Oh, I noticed. Thanks. I love fresh tobacco. It's real nice.
Yeah. So you had a health scare.
I did
A
have
serious health
serious
scare.
health scare. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
You didn't telegraph that very well on the social media.
I did. I mean, yeah. There's no point in telegraphing it.
Some people I know like to talk about it.
They do, yeah. And I mean, it's just not. It's not like anti. It's not like I'm being anti, just
It's just why?
I had other shit going on, or I didn't. Yeah, I might still have to have surgery, kind of thing.
Really?
And it's kind of weird to be in this place where I know that that could happen again, and be fine, or as fine as I was before. And to be like considering like, oh, should I do this or am I fine? You know, because the doctors are like, you know, if you're going to go someplace for like 6 weeks without good medical care, you should really get surgery. That's an interesting thing to ponder.
You should also consider potentiating your DNA, my friend.
What does that even mean?
We continue.
Come on, let's go.
I've always been crazy in the trouble that it's put me through. Been busted for things that I've done, things I don't do. Can't say I'm proud of all of the things that I've done. But I can say I never intentionally hurt anyone. I've always been different with one foot over the line. Winding up somewhere one step ahead or behind. So far I ain't found a rhyme or a reason to change. I've always been crazy, but it's kept me from going insane. Beautiful dreamer, I hope that you understand. Chances you're taking, loving a free living man. You really want what you see. Be careful of something that's just what you want it to be. same. And I've always known that it was a messenger, a rolling billboard, if you will. But it's taken me quite some time to decide what the message might be. Now I know what it is. Bobsledding.